So in this exception handling, it is visible my screen,
Sir.
right? Okay. So in this exception handling, in the sense, whenever you're compiling this programming, any programming, whenever you compile any program, in that program, if it is getting any error, so then that program, it can be given a what is that error. So whenever it is identifying that error, then the program execution will be stopped. Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes, whenever you execute the program, so on the time, so whenever it is getting that error, so whenever it is identified that error, then the program executions will be stopped. So that is the exception. Clear?
Sir.
So here you have to use exception, in the sense whenever using that exception, so that exception you have to write in only block only. Block in the sense, so this is the block. Yes or no?
What we call, sir, for that? Block.
Block within the flower bracket, you have to mention.
Yes, sir.
So that is called a block, which is the starting flower bracket and ending flower bracket. So within the space, you call that block. Yes.
Sir.
So if you
Sir.
if you want to using, if you want to know that, so this line is the error. So you have to identify it. So that identified line you have to mention in this block only. So when you mention in this block only, so that block is the exception block. What you call that? Exception block. Exception block. So actually this exception handling is the very most important. Why? Because this is the error identification purpose. You have to use this exception handling. Okay, the programmer developer. So when you compile the program, so on the time you have to identify so which line it is getting that error. So whenever you knows that those are our lines, so then you have to plan that. So whenever you skipping that line, then the program it can be executed. So on the time that error, which line it can be getting that line, error, that line you have to mention a exception. Clear?
Sir.
Yes, the exception. So that exception line you should be mentioning within the block, one block. So then that program, entire the program, it that particular line it can be exception. Then the program, total program, it can be executed without that line only. So why? Because and lot of programs or big programs or high programs you have to using in for that one application. That for that one application, in that application, if it is getting one line error, so on that purpose, entire the application you cannot be stopped. Why? Because we you have to whenever you stop that programming or whenever you stop that application, so that you have to lose the sum of the money for that stopping of that application from that application. So in that way, just to have to exception whenever you apply that line or whenever you applying that for that error. So whenever you applying that exception, then that entire the application it can be executed or it can be going on. So without the handling of that error, that is the point actually. In that purpose, you have to using this exception handling. In some of the applications, for example, WhatsApp application is there, Facebook applications also is there. In that application, some of the errors is going on in background of the server. So that based on that error, based on the problem, entire that application whenever you stop, then you have to, for example, that CEO or that management, they lost the lot of money. Yes or no? Hello?
Sir.
Yeah, it is clear, my voice?
Sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, okay. Did you understood that one? What I am saying? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, guys. Shivani, Venkatramaniya.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So in that way, entire the application, entire the website, we cannot stop based on that error. So on the time, how can you run that application? How can you run that website in the sense, which line it can be, or it should be based on that error. That line, you have to mention that exception from this block only. So on that way, that line or that code, it can be based on that, whenever it is based on that exception, then only that application, that website is successfully execute, or it successfully,
Okay.
what is that?
If we write that that line means it will be ignore the line, sir.
What is that? Sorry.
If we get the error something like line in 18, sir. If we write in within block, then that line will be ignored, sir.
What I am saying, this is the first introduction. So the how to handle
Okay.
that, how to handle that based on that error. That thing you have to discuss in today onward. Okay.
Okay, sir.
How
sir.
can you exception that exception line? How to handle that line? How to handle that error? How to handle that? What is that based on that error line? So how to handle that entire the application? And these are all things today onwards we have we will discuss. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay. So here the number of blocks is there. So the different type of blocks. First one is the try block. One moment. Yeah. First one is the try block. And second one is the through and through keyword. Okay. And third one is the hierarchy. That exception hierarchy is very most important. Okay. So
screen correct ga change, sir.
Okay, sure. It is okay.
Close.
Now it is okay.
Sir, no. Yeah, sir. Okay.
Right. So these type of things we will discuss actually in this exception handling. So in this exception handling, whenever you discuss on that exception handling actually, so some of the it can be following some of order also. Which one is the parent and which one is the child also we will discuss and today onwards or tomorrow onwards we will discuss on that order. How to form that order. So which one is the parent and which one is the child. So these type of hierarchies you have to discuss in this exception handling. The exception handling is in some of the events it can be having our programming. The events in the sense that is each and every functionality is the one event. Clear? Yes or no?
Sir, what, sir?
Each and every program it can be having some of the events. Did you imagine that event in the sense that functionality A equal to A equal to B by C. That is the one functionality. That is like a one type of event. Clear?
Sir.
So that event you have to using in methods and direct functionalities you have to using in our program. Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes. Other members is not responding. Tahir, Ivani, Venkat. Sure.
Yes, sir.
When I am asking the question, just you have to respond. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Right. Very good. Here, those are all things we will discuss in this program. Exception is a event, event that occurs during the execution of a program. That event, if any affects that disturbs, then that normal flow of instructions, it can be stopped based on that. So on that way, this exception handling, it can be using in our programming. Just you have to think about this. Just you have to going to this Eclipse. Just wait 1 minute. I have to share this Eclipse moment. Yes. Here you have to create in this source file. What is that package? com.edgeq dot exception. So on this package, you have to create one class. So here, just you have to mention that exception. That class name is the exception. I want this method. Then you have to finish. Yes. Here you have to. It is visible my screen, guys.
Sir.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Hello. Hello, guys.
Sir.
Sir.
It is okay.
Okay.
Sir.
Yes, okay. Okay. Then you have to here just you have to mention under this method, just you have to use this out. Here you have to mention that what type of program actually I have to use in this screen. Just you have to use two variables. In that two variables, you have to give in one functionality. The answer, it can be displayed on that result. Yes or no? Guys, just you have to take the two variables. In that two variables, you have to create a functionality. That functionality, that result, it should be given through result. Yes, just you have to now write on that program. Then how it can be given a exception, how to handle that exception, and these are all things we have to discuss. Okay.
Okay.
Number equal to, just you have to give that 3, and again you have to use that S number, and just you have to use that 1, and here result. So these two variables, it should be given by using of this variable, result variable.
Result.
Here. So here you have to write the functionality. Result equal to f number divided by s number. Yes or no? What is this? What is this functionality? What you call this one?
String sta
This is the result. This is the event. This is the one event in our program. Yes or no?
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is the one we have to create it for that variable. Okay. And here just you have to call that variable by the using of this function. So here output is result. Yes, clear. And second one also. Program execution. So n. So here by the using of this functionality, through this functionality, you have to use, you have to call from this variable. So this variable functioning from this event, it can be given on this result. Yes or no? See, whenever you execute
sir.
this program, whenever you execute this program is given program execution start. So whenever it is compiling the program, then it can be given a program execution start. So here it is the given, the first line is the program execution end is given is the first line of that answer. It is not getting that first line on the answer. So this is the ending line of that answer or output. This is the ending line on that output. Yes or no?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Sir.
So
Yes.
in this line, so in this way, so how can you get the output? So from this output, you have to imagine this program. So how it can be executed? Which one is the first execution on this program? So on that way, just
F
you have
number.
so first it can be approaching the compiler. It can be approaching this output only. Whenever it is approaching this output, then it can be given a output. Then it can be approaching that variable. So these variables, whenever it is successfully reading this variable, then it can be approaching this event. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So whenever it is approaching this event, then it can be calculated successfully from this variable. Then whenever it is successfully approaching this event, then it is not getting any error. So in that functionality, in that variables also. So on that, whenever it is successfully executed in this event, then it can be taken this output only. Output is some result. So that output it can be given through this result variable only. So then and finally it can be given a output is that from a program execution. It's okay. And here you have to change this variable value 5. So then you have to execute. It is
సార్
that
అక్కడ ఎఫ్ నెంబర్ ఎస్ నెంబర్ బదులు ఇంట్ అయ్యి ఇంట్ జే ఇస్తే అవుట్పుట్ వస్తుందా సార్?
definitely వస్తుంది.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay. So this is variable.
అది
Just variable you have to using this variables only by the using of that word or letter character or by the using of that word whatever it may be, it can be taking that as a variable only. Yes sir. But
Yes,
that
sir.
differentiation purpose I have to using this f number s number. So that number should be calculated from this event. Then that result it should be given through this result variable. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. So here you have to change, for example, here 10 and here you have to change that 2 only. Then just you have to execute. It is given a right output or wrong output?
రైట్ అవుట్పుట్ సార్.
Yes, of course. So here you have
సార్
to
ఇన్ కేస్ మనము ఇంటి ప్లేస్ లో ఫ్లోట్ ప్లేస్ చేసిన వస్తుందా సార్ డెసిమల్ వాల్యూస్ ఇస్తే?
exactly
Yeah,
whatever
coming.
maybe it can be calculated just like a calculation. So just you have to concentrate exception, not a calculation. Clear?
ఎస్ సార్.
Yes, exception. Just you have to concentrate on that exception only. Here you have to give a 0. Okay? 0. So
ఎస్.
how it execute that program? So it is not executable. Why? Because that is not a proper way.
ఫంక్షన్.
That variable, so assigning, that is not a proper way. Actually here you have to using whenever you compiling this program, so this program, that compiler, it can be up to reading here also, that compiler, it can be successfully reading without the any error. That compiler, it should be taken. Yes or no?
ఎస్ సార్.
Yes. So whenever it is approaching this event, by this using this event, so then that compiler can be getting that here it is that compiler, it is not concentrate this event. This runtime only, it can be concentrate this event. So here the compiler, it can be checking that syntax it follows or not. Yes or no? Whenever it is reading this program up to this result variable, then that runtime, it can be going on from this event. So whenever it is identified this event, then it can be written to that value from this value. Then this calculation from the using of this event, it is not successfully. So whenever it is error identified in that run programming, then that entire the program, so up to here, it is a proper thing, it can be it should be following. But whenever it is approaching this event, then it can be identified error. Yes or no? Right?
ఎస్ సార్.
Yes, very good. So whenever it is approaching this event, from this event, then that runtime or that compiler, it can be identified the error. How it can be identified that error? In the sense that f number is the 10, so that the s number is the 0. It cannot be divided by from the number. So whenever it is identified in that way, then automatically that program should be affected the error. Yes or no?
ఎస్ సార్.
Yes, very good. What about other? Shivani, Tahir, Chetan, tell me,
sir.
did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Tahir, you don't
Yes,
say?
sir.
Yes, very good. So clearly that you have to observe, this is the very most important way. Why? Because whenever you, as a developer, whenever you're entering into the company, so they are providing to packages and different type of packages and programs. So here just you have to identify from the errors only. How to identify, how to clear that error, how to fix that error, and those are all things. It's very important. That is the main thing as a developer. Clear?
Sir.
Yes. Here you have to providing this different type of wrong integer. You have to providing in this programming. So on the time, entire the program. So whenever here the event is the proper way you have to mentioning, and what is that variables also you have to given. But based on this event, so that variable values is a different wrong way you have to providing from that event. So in that way, whenever it is affected that error, that variable only, that entire the program it should be error. It is not executable, that error. In that way, here just you have to observe in bottom side. So it can be given a Java long arithmetic exception. What type of exception? Exception. It can be handling that program guys? What type
Yes,
of
sir.
exception is there?
Java.lang
Lang, yes, lang.
dot org.
Yes, just you have to concentrate lang file. So this lang file is a exception file. So Java, each and every program, whenever you write the program, whenever you write the event, the total event, it should be right in the lang files only. Where you have to identify that lang? Could you identify that lang? When you are
In source folder, sir.
uh, where?
Subclass, sir. Subclass. When we create the
క్లాస్
class,
క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మనకి చూపిస్తుంది సార్.
Yes,
subclass దగ్గర
క్లాస్ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఎక్కడ చూపిస్తుంది?
subclass, sir.
ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో
ఆబ్జెక్ట్
క్లాస్ అనేటువంటి దాని దగ్గర ఆబ్జెక్ట్ అనేటువంటి దాంట్లో మనకి ఇక్కడ ఐడెంటిఫై అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. సో దట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ వెన్ ఎవర్ క్రియేటింగ్ దట్ క్లాస్ బిఫోర్ ద ఆబ్జెక్ట్ బిఫోర్ ద క్లాస్ just you have the Java defaultly created that lang file. In that lang file, it should be written on this program. So what type of events included in your program? Please, and somebody shouting. Yes, right. Here, actually, entire this program. One moment. Right. And in this program, it can be written on that lang files only. So what type of things it should be written on this lang files, in the sense that Java, it can be written on that lang file. How it can be written on that lang files, in the sense in the programming, what type of events is involved. So, and what type of things should be available in this program. And these are all things should be available in that lang file only. So that lang file, what type of error it can be getting, in the sense arithmetic exception only. What is that? Arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception in this, whenever you click on this program, sorry, there it is. Right. So here, whenever you observing by this name, arithmetic exception. So that exception is the arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception, in the sense where it is involved, that arithmetic exception, variables and functionality. So these are all the arithmetic things. So then you have to identify. So where it is that arithmetic. So where it is included that arithmetic line. So these are all things you have to plan it. Then, so what type of arithmetic, in the sense here it can be given in a clear information. It's available. What is that? By 0. That arithmetic exception is the 0. So where it is that located, that 0. What type of variable it can be having that values. So these are all things you have to what is that, imagine. So then you have to go that by the using of that variables, what type of values you have to assign. Just you have to pick from that variable. Yes or no?
Oh, sir.
Yes. Okay. And
Yes, sir.
second one, and second one also, the it can be given exception Java also, dot Java also, it can be given a handle. So how here the identification purpose, the program error identification purpose, just to have to go through and bottom to up. Here you have to approach bottom to up. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, 2 లైన్స్ అనేటువంటివి మనకి ఎర్రర్స్ అనేటువంటివి వచ్చినాయి. సో అప్పుడు మీరు ఎలా అప్రోచ్ అవుతారు? ఎర్రర్స్ అనేటువంటి వాటిని, ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఎర్రర్స్ అనేటువంటి వాటిని వేటినైనా క్లియర్ చేయాలి అని అనుకున్నట్లయితే బాటమ్ నుంచి అప్ స్టేజ్ లోనికి వెళ్ళాలి. పై నుంచి టాప్ స్టేజ్ లో నుంచి బాటమ్ స్టేజ్ లోనికి ఎర్రర్స్ ని క్లియర్ చేయకూడదు. ఓకే గైస్?
ఓకే సార్.
ఇది ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎర్రర్స్ అనేటువంటి వాటిని హ్యాండిల్ చేసేటువంటి విధానం. అర్థమైందా? ఎలా హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తారు? బాటమ్ టు టాప్ కాకుండా బాటమ్ టు టాపా లేకపోతే టాప్ టు బాటమా?
Bottom to top, sir.
అది బాటమ్ టు టాప్. సో ఎందుకనంటే సో see here in this small programming it can be given a 2 errors. Just to have to click on this, then automatically it can be goes to 11th line. So here also that information should be available on this line. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here already it can be given that information of that error Java 11th line. So here, for example, if you not get any this line number, so on the time, just to have to click on this line right button, then it can be given a show quick line number. So here just you have to click on this. See here it is any available that number, line number?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. So in your systems, if it is not available, then you have to click on right button. Then you have to click on show line number. Then
Show line numbers.
yes, then automatically that line number should be appear on that left side. Clear? Clear, guys?
Yes,
Ah,
sir.
sir.
Yes, very good. So here just you have to observe that line number whenever you fixing that error, whenever you fixing that number, that line, based on the line number. So whenever it is available, this line number, then you have to identify where it is that error. So that information should be available on this console box. What type of box this one? Console box.
Console box.
Yes, exactly. So output from output get the from this console box only. You have to get the output. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here whenever you press on this exception, then automatically that which area it can be getting the error, that area it can be selecting on this press on this error. Then automatically it can be identified that event. Yes or no? So here that event, okay, it is problem, it is that event. Then you have to mention what is that second one. Just you have to go this in first what is that first one line. So this is the by 0. So this problem is getting from this 0 only. Then where it is that 0? From this variable only. Then you have to change this variable value. So that is the 5. You have to change that 5. Then you have to execute. Then automatically successfully executed that program. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's the way of fixing that error. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. This is okay. And actually, and different type of error handling is exceptions also is available. First one is the user can create a exception handling and Java can perform the exception handling. And two type of things is available in our Java programming. So user can create exception handling in the sense, and here in this programming, what you have to observe whenever you given a wrong variable value or whenever you given a event wrong event thing should be involved in your programming. The Java, it can be identified that exception or that error. Yes or no? You are identified or Java identified in your programming that error?
Java, sir.
Yes, Java is defaultly identified that exception where it is that error. Whenever compiling the programming, that that compiler or that execution in the execution time or in the runtime, it can be identified that Java only. You are not identified. So here, whenever you user also, it can be identified by the observing the program, by the seeing the program. Here, that user also it can be identified. Yes or no? Before the compiling the program. Clear? That is the plausible or not? It is possible.
What, sir?
What about others? Did you get my point?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No?